Hey, I'm Kevin.
I'm Dylan.
And I'm Jamie. And we are High South. And you're listening to Backbeat.
All music is the same. It's just a new set of lyrics and a new backbeat.
Alright, AndreGraziadei here for the Backbeat Experience, together with American bands High South. High South. It's kind of a misnomer. Wouldn't it be Low South? High South.
Well, that's the fun of it.
Yeah, it's
we mess with your head a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Well, this, little that.
You're just trying to shake it up.
We are.
There you go. We're all about shaking.
Well, in the States, there's such thing as the Deep South.
The Deep South, yes.
Deep South.
Sort of the High South.
We just wanted to pick a territory. Everybody else had one. Why can't we have one?
Somewhere in between. So you guys were formed in 2012 and released your first album a year later, correct?
Roughly, yeah. 2011.
Okay.
We got together and started talking about this idea. Really came together full force in 2012. Yes. So we were a little bit earlier, a little older than that.
Cool. Well, you guys started out as a quartet, but because of personal reasons, then one member, what's his name, Mark Copley, had to leave the band.
Right.
So how did that transform in the constellation of the band? How did that work on a further level?
Well, Mark was primarily our lead guitar player.
Right.
So, we're a three-part harmony group. So Mark, when he was singing, was generally covering another double part. So when Mark had some personal things he wanted to be able to take care of, and we're thinking about, well, do we need a fourth guy? We're like, no, we don't need a fourth guy because we're covering all the parts ourselves.
Yeah, he was gone. We played some gigs, just the three of us, and we the sound didn't change, other than a solo not happening where it usually did. But you can cover that vocally on a harp. He can play lead, so it didn't change our sound. It wasn't a big.
It's not a big deal.
No.
Okay, that just kept the general idea.
Yeah.
So you guys are based out of Nashville? It's like the music capital of the world.
Yeah, but we like it better to meet in Dallas.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's where we're
away from the noise, away from all of the mess of Nashville.
When we get together to do rehearsals, it's happened in Dallas.
Okay, well, how did you guys each find each other? I mean, you're all from three different areas of the country.
I have moved around quite a bit, chasing music, of course, like most guys. I ended up in Nashville in 2003, and met Dylan through a mutual friend of ours who introduced us, and I used to go see Dylan play almost every Tuesday at a place called the Tin Roof on Demumbrian Avenue, right in the heart of Music Row in Nashville. And he was with a 3 or 4 piece group, harmony group. And I remembered that. I thought, this guy's really great. He writes great songs, got a great voice, and so we were friends already. So I said, hey man, would you be interested in this sort of thing? And yeah, I would be interested in this sort of thing. And then, that's sort of how it happened. And we just started pulling the guys together. We started writing together to see if this was going to work. Because we knew we had to write our own songs.
Right.
And we wrote, anytime we sit down to write, we pull out 1 or 2 songs. And we've been really lucky and sort of prolific in that way. So we feel like everything's clicked. And Kevin was brought to us, actually, by Mark Copley.
Actually, by Mark Copley, yeah. They know each other from New York. He lived
Mark
in
and
New York.
I knew each other from New York.
Yes.
All right.
They'd done a bunch of work together, wanted to, and I had done a bunch of work with Mark Copley on a pop gig with a big pop artist for a while.
Okay.
And that's how I met these guys. Yeah.
So you came in through the back door, so to speak.
I'm a back door man.
Back door man. So would you say you guys come particularly from a country vein, and you're more like,
I don't know. It's just definitely the music that was around us growing up. Obviously, that was there, and I'm sure it was different. The 3 places that we all come from. But I definitely did not listen to country music growing up. It wasn't something that happened in my house or from around my friends. But growing up and broadening my horizons, and I fell in love with real American music made by hand,
handmade music.
Definitely going in another direction, So I definitely fell in love with that. I sang in choir and the voice. And
you were in the Glee Club, right?
Thankfully,
Don't get him started on that.
Thankfully, we didn't have a Glee Club because I would have. I would have.
All right.
But we didn't have
I
it.
think being in a band is forever evolutionary. You can't just say, hey man, we're going to start a rock band and be a rock band. You know, unless you do other people's songs. They give them to you and kind of say, here, do this so you can be in a rock band. It's a lot easier that way. But one of the beautiful things that we found as this thing is kind of going on is we're constantly evolving as writers. We're constantly evolving as people, as an act, total. And so when we get together, we sit down and we jam on something and we make fun. Oh, dude, that was so 4 years ago. And then you would say something, you'd be doing something new, and they'd be like, "That's cool. That's kind of fresh and new." So we're knowing like where the boundaries of our band lies without going, "Whoa, that's way out." We find we try to hit all of the boundaries, the whole spectrum of who we are as ourselves.
What's cool about having 3 guys in the group too is that we each bring a little different thing. You know?
Yeah, we're definitely all the time. He's talking about we're definitely pushing the boundaries out. We're trying to, definitely like.
Well, an album.
Encompassing a lot of different experiences, a lot of different music that we all bring to the table.
Because we can.
Yeah,
Because we can.
An album is always kind of a snapshot of the point in time where the band or the person, the artist is.
That's right.
Talk about a
Well
snapshot.
said.
Yeah.
Perfect, yeah.
We wrote these on this new record. 8 of the songs.
11
of the new songs we wrote. 8 of them we wrote like in the span of
Inside
like
of 5
5
days.
days.
So how do you guys share then the songwriting duties?
We sit down together.
It's literally the
So it's a three-way split.
Yeah, the door closes, the door comes out. The songs was 3 ways, equal parts.
Okay.
Input.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Not kind of a Lennon McCartney and leave the other two out.
No, I mean,
Because
yes,
we're all
in the
good
sense
enough.
that it's just the 3 of us. Like, it's the 3 of us in there. Those 5 days was the 3 of us just writing songs, and out came this record. And it really wasn't, if you were in there, there were 3 individual guys. We all have our own ideas, but one thing we do have that I haven't experienced in a lot of other groups is like an openness with each other that, like I said, is not found in a lot of other places. 3 dudes, 3 passionate artistic dudes, But we all, we were fighting towards the same thing, and we kind of brought the best out of each other.
Yeah.
So you guys all complement each other.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think so.
Well, that's
We're stronger together than any of us could be apart, honestly.
We're the same way on stage.
That's a rare thing
We
today.
definitely have a lot of fun.
So I noticed that there's an increased popularity in singer-songwriters. I mean, that would fit, of course, the style of music you guys are doing.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Ed Sheeran comes to mind. Young singer-songwriter, reminds me of maybe sort of a Dylan for the ages. And I think that's super respectable. That's something that we, who are big respecters of, as guys who write their own songs and speak from the heart.
Go out there and play them themselves.
And then play them themselves.
Yes, really cool.
Yeah.
So as far as the music, or rather the songs are concerned, are some of them autobiographical, or is it just snapshots in time for you guys?
You know what's cool to me is we have all of our songs. We try to have like a global sort of. We try to be all inclusive. Like we've got a ballad called Honesty.
Right.
We said, hey, let's. There's a lot going on in the world right now. We even say this during the show. Because it's important to us. There's a lot happening in the world, and we sort of go into what the song means to us and why. But at the same time, there are lines in that song that I drew from my relationship with my wife. They have nothing to do with the world at large, but they work. They fit.
There's every song, there's definitely, a feeling you can like distill out of it, And we're talking about specific things, that happened to us, but we're definitely going toward that
all-inclusive
yeah.
sort of vibe.
That's how we connect with our audience, is to make relative happenings through our lives, and whether we have to embellish them or whether we have to just turn it to where we can turn it on our audience to where they go, oh my gosh, I felt the same thing. That's our purpose.
You want to move people.
So I was listening to your music, and I really I really missed this kind of three-part harmony. So I was thinking of course, the Eagles or Poco,
Right.
you know, bands like that, or Jackson Brown, or whoever.
Crosby, Stills.
Crosby, Stills, yeah. And I was thinking, I could picture you guys doing Seven Bridges Road. You ever heard the Eagles' Live 80 album? What a fantastic version that is.
Yeah.
I could picture you guys doing it.
You know, we were completely inspired by that song, and we wrote something not similar necessarily, but it sort of holds that same place card in our show as Seven Bridges Road. I mean, to say that we were not inspired by the Eagles would be a fat lie. Because we love the Eagles, man. We love them. You know, they're just awesome.
There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, it's totally cool.
Yeah, we're not trying to be them, but we were inspired by them for sure.
So some of your music is also country music influenced. I mean, some of the Eagles stuff was also. I mean, wait, they were the backup band for playing the Ronstadt. So there you go.
I mean, we bring tools from everywhere. You know, singer-songwriter tools and country tools hail from Nashville, and you know, Kevin brings a lot of the LA flair, but it's really not who brings it; it's what's on the table when we get together and work. And the same goes in our live performances. You know, we've got each other's back, and that's all there is to it. And we make that connection with the audience, and when the audience sees that, it's so funny. You know, German is not our first language, shall we say. Well, I'm trying to make it to where we're humbled enough where people come by and after the show and they go, "Gosh, it was so good to see you guys perform. You really play well together." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's what we tried." No, and they go, "No, you smiled. You really
Look like you're having so much fun
having
together.
fun." And I'm like, "Did you have fun?" And they go, "Yes, because you did." And I looked, and then we did our job.
The feeling transcends.
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
So, what were the circumstances on you guys choosing the recording studios where you guys recorded? I mean, that must have been intimidating. Mark Knopfler or Don Felder. You've known Don for a while now.
Yeah,
So,
studios.
I mean, what was that? First of all, the recording studio, and secondly, how intimidating was that? Just thinking of those legendary Dire Straits albums from the 80s.
That's right. We walked into the studio the day after Mumford & Son had walked out and recording. So we were like, and the Killers had been there the week before that. Mark Knopfler was roaming the halls. Our engineer had designed the studio. I mean, we were really excited.
Chuck Ainley behind the board.
Right. I don't think. I have to go back in my mind. I think I was intimidated, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, that first record was actually. There were strange moments in the making of that record because we would be in the booth, the vocal booth, and famous people would be in the. Or the label head, or the whole label would be in the
studio, and watching you guys.
Yeah, and
we're in a fishbowl.
Yes, so that was freaky. The other hand, this new record, we were able to make this in Munich at Master Mix, and it was a whole other experience.
Yes,
a little grittier.
Talk about Snapshot, right?
Yeah.
We were in the studio in that live room, the three of us, just like we are on stage.
Yeah.
Our three guitars sitting on stools with microphones in front of us, and we played and sang these songs at the same exact time in live.
So live to tape, as they used to in the 60s.
Yes, yes. The three of us with our acoustic guitars and his harp, we'd be in there all singing together, harmonies.
Yeah. So we went a different direction with the second record.
So in that sense,
I feel like it's a whole lot more of us.
Well, you guys are growing.
We had played a bunch of shows together. We had just written all these songs. So like, I like your word snapshot. It like most definitely was a snapshot of that moment right then and there for us.
Plus we had roots by then. You know, the garden was growing. The musical garden was growing by then. So we went in with such a positive and confirmed, assured kind of way to go in there, and we did. We went in relaxed. We went in prepared. We went in fresh.
14 songs in 7 days.
The whole record.
The whole record.
It reminds me of Grand Funk Railroad releasing 2 albums in 1 year.
Yeah, among many others have been
Yeah,
back then.
but you said the studios and music. Isn't that where Queen recorded?
Yeah. And so we were stoked to be there among many others.
On that same board, yeah.
Yeah, on that same board. Yeah. So I mean, we felt the ghosts in there. It was really cool.
Jorgen Klopens. He did all the Donna Summer stuff.
Yeah. Giorgio Moroder.
Yeah, I mean Jorgen pretty much built that place from the ground up, so it was kind of his shrine, and it was real special to be in those rooms, knowing
Jack Black, right? His studio.
Jack Black,
His studio for a while.
Jack White.
Jack White.
Jack Black.
You get all the black whites.
I get the other Jack White mixed up too.
So these are pretty good places to be starting out with. Right?
Yeah.
Very
We're
fortunate.
super
I would say very fortunate.
Yes.
You guys have, as artists on your own merits, have a good foothold in the States. Why did you guys decide to start in Europe?
That was simply because our producers happened to be from Austria.
Okay.
And when we met them, they were like, "How would you feel about starting this in Europe?" And we're like, "I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And why not? That'd be cool." And it didn't hurt that they said, "You know, the Eagles started in Europe." So we're like, "Oh, if it's good enough for the Eagles."
Is there any truth to that?
Yes.
We recorded their first album.
Recorded their first with Glenn Johns in London.
Okay.
Yes.
That reminds me of America, who formed themselves in England, but were not even British.
That sounds like a joke.
America's recorded in Britain.
So I was listening to the track "Fine Wine." Of course, this is referring to a person, but you guys being in Europe, of course, now being in Germany, beer or wine?
Jack Daniels, please.
Enough said.
We are some whiskey.
Does that cover all 3 years?
We are some whiskey boys.
It does.
We are some whiskey boys, but we do appreciate
A fine wine.
Yes, a very fine wine.
Fine wine.
Okay.
I'm so big on the beer.
I mean, come on, let's be real. We're musicians. We'll drink anything. Put it on to get us drunk.
Yeah. Very true.
If it's gonna get us drunk, I'll probably drink.
As long as it's got percentage.
Exactly.
So, Rockstar, I mean, I think of, this is just a typical picture of Rockstar. I mean, Nickelback did the same thing. But what about something in the vein of the Loadout or Stay from Jackson Browne? Maybe something along that direction?
I'm not sure I follow the question.
I'm not. Maybe what I'm trying to say is instead of just doing this typical Rockstar song, he just did a story about actually being on the road, not the glorified version of it.
Well, we wrote this as tongue-in-cheek. And if you're really listening to the lyrics, you can tell that this is like, we're poking fun. This is not like, take me for real.
Even if...
Well, I mean, so did Nickelback. They're poking fun at that, too.
Right.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I didn't really think of that song as we were writing this one. That one didn't even really... We don't really listen to much Nickelback, honestly. But
well, they're Canadian. So.
They're Canadian, and they're super successful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that song is really derivative of that.
No, definitely. We were It's like a sort of tongue-in-cheek thing, you know, like
truly,
like boy wants the girl. It's like, and then cliches. You know, we were watching TV. We saw what was happening. Like, there are actual pop stars out there getting drunk and crashing sports cars. Like, that's a true story. That's not made up.
Let's get back to Mark Knopfler. Money for nothing.
Chicks for free.
There you go.
There you go.
That'll do it.
I guess he could have written the Loadout, but Mark decided not to.
So I was looking at some stuff online. You had a spring? That's a little bit German. Springboard with the Nashville. What was it called? Nashville Star.
Nashville Star.
And you had sort of a letdown with American Idol.
You found that?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, yeah.
He's a digger.
Yeah.
Let's mention Enrique Iglesias.
So, of course, you had the upside and you had the downside. But what was your experience? Of course, yours is all positive. But what would you say you got out of that?
Well, I mean, I was on. It was pretty far into its run. You know, it wasn't like the first few seasons of American Idol when I was on it. So it's definitely a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
You know, like as soon as you step in, because you know I'm an entertainer myself, so I've seen what behind the scenes looks like in different respects, and it's a well-oiled machine over there, man. They're making good television, and that's their primary goal. That's what it felt like, at least, you know. And so if when they have the opportunity to make good television, they'll go for it. They don't, you know, like they don't care. You've signed as soon as you walk in the door. You signed whatever I do on camera. You can use.
It's all yours.
Take it for the rest of my life and my firstborn.
That's right. In perpetuity.
Yeah.
In the universe.
So anything could have happened, and if it would make for good television. You know, because I happen to make good television. I answered the door with my shirt off.
That's right.
Because I make it a purpose of not watching shows like that because I don't think it's reality.
Right, exactly.
Because the people that win very often, it's the second and third guy in line that you hear from later.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. You know, Nashville Star, when I was on, it was the very first year. So I felt like I was very leery that it would be something all about the ratings and all about quote-unquote good TV.
Right.
But I found that, I can only speak to my season, but I found that they were very insightful about what it meant to us to be songwriters and artists. And they gave us opportunities to explore those things on this show, which I find is super unique from the other shows out there.
Formats, yeah.
Right. So in that regard, I think they did a really nice job. On the other hand, it's still TV, you know. But you know, you mentioned earlier, you know, all of it was good for me. But that's honestly, that's not the truth. I mean, there is a stigma that goes along with being on a reality television show. And a very wise person gave me some really good advice after that show. And he said, Jamie, I believe you're going to have a long career, and when people ask you about this show, you just tell them the truth. This was something I did along the way to where I'm going, you know, and it wasn't the beginning, it wasn't the end, it's just something you did in there, and you did a great job, man. You know, so I feel like, you know, at that point I didn't feel guilty anymore about being on a reality TV show that I had sold out in any way. I felt like I'd been able to maintain integrity and you know, set me on a path. So
and then you got the tour with Trans-Siberian.
And then I got the tour with TSO, which was super cool. And I got to tour Canada, your stomping ground.
Did we get some light in here?
We have a tour light.
They're getting ready.
Wieso ist Licht aus?
Bitte.
Kommt das Licht hier noch, oder?
Ja, bitte. Wie viel Zeit ist noch?
Eigentlich keine mehr.
10 Minuten.
7
minutes.
7 minutes.
Where am I? Trans-Siberian, yeah, I interviewed Al Petrelli last year.
Oh, okay, Al's a great guy.
So, you know, that's a real amazing show. They
Talk about a well-oiled machine.
Oh, yeah, and it's, you know, to be part of that is just, I think
super exciting.
Oh,
to sing to 20,000 people a night in an arena. And I get to open the show.
Really?
So, my first night out, you know, the stage is covered in fog, you can't see your feet. And I knew I was going to fall, man. I didn't, thank God. I forgot how to walk, it was terrible.
And on Reverb Nation, I was reading on your page, this band is supposed to be called Fly South.
Fly South was that was our original
name.
Band, yeah.
Okay.
That was,
actually, our original was called South,
Yeah.
and then we found out there was a South, and we tried to buy the name actually, and they're like, no way, Jose. So then we were like, well, hey, maybe Fly South would be cool. And then there was a management company out of Orlando called Fly South, and they're like, no way, you can't use this name. And we're like, we evolved.
yes, we did.
And you got your
We got the best one.
You got your fingers in soundtrack work too.
Yes, yes.
I remember reading somewhere it says, you want to make money, do soundtrack work.
Yeah.
There's money in that.
Yeah. If you know the right people,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, I had some great ones in LA working with some really fine music directors, composers and stuff. Yeah, it's great. Maybe something to go back to down the road.
That's your back door.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a great back porch to go out to every now and then.
And your foot in the door is, what did I see, something? The Lane Project? What is that?
That's a singer. Not a singer, a songwriter.
Okay.
In LA that wrote a bunch of songs, and yeah, he hired me to sing them. They're actually really nice songs. It's got cool videos for them. It was really, that was a really nice experience. We recorded in a really nice studio in LA. It was cool. But yeah, that was really just a job. I got hired to sing a song.
Exposure. Exposure.
It was fun.
Absolutely.
Definitely was a good time.
Let's see now. Okay, we're going to the last question. What do you guys do on your time off?
Yes.
See, what was I doing? I was gardening at home before I wrote up these questions. So
Yeah, I mean, when I'm home, I definitely like to be outside. So if I'm not, I'm outside, hiking, surfing.
motorcycle?
No.
We got some great roads here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've never been on a motorcycle. So
Really?
I might be too scared.
Okay.
But surf?
I surf, yeah, surfing's
What
cool.
about you, Dylan?
I take care of a 10-year-old. I have a 10-year-old son.
That's a full-time job.
He's a pretty much a
Somewhere in
full-time job.
between, you squeeze some music.
Exactly. If I'm not on hockey skates, right? Exactly.
All right. What about you, Jamie? What do you do?
Outside of music, geez, I spend a lot of time when I'm not on tour with my dogs. My wife is a professional was a professional ballet dancer, and now she has a great practice where she teaches. So she's really busy, and when I'm off the road and I'm relaxing at the house, I try to just take care of housework and watch the dogs and do like Mr. Mom kind of things. And honestly, I like to go grocery shopping. I kind of dig it. It's like really relaxing after you've been out on the road.
Yeah,
Hauling
there's a
your
lot
gear
of,
around for months at a time.
There's a lot of just wanting to like do normal
Just
stuff,
normal stuff,
shit.
yeah.
we do.
But you say grocery shopping. Do you bring a list?
Oh, a honeydew list, as we call it at home. My
Oh, yeah?
wife writes out a list. Honey do this, honey do that.
When you do this,
So yeah, she makes the list, I do the shopping.
Because most men don't. They walk in the supermarket without the list, and
We'd be up, yeah.
they're supposed to
down
buy
the
like
aisles.
shit, 3 things in the
she'll
basket.
make you a list. She'll make you a list, but
Laundry.
you know you're going to call her anyway.
Oh yeah.
You know you're going to call her. She'll give you a list, and you know you're going to call her.
There's always a matter of you being wrong.
Which is most of the time.
Yeah. Well, you guys, thanks a lot for having a chat.
Thank you.
Very interesting.
Thank you.